I know there's like 10 seconds left, but give me another 30 seconds. Sorry, the water just boiled. Timer extension voice jump scare. Hello. Oh, my stream lights aren't on. I was like, something looks wacky. My lights weren't on. Can we get the tea on today's tea? Yeah. Oh, I should show you guys the brick. I'll show you guys the brick. It looks really cool. My tea club shipment came in, so I have notes. You want the tea on today's tea? I got you. Oh, enjoy dinner. Thanks for stopping by, Aurora. Get on space. Welcome to chat. Good to have you. Annyeong. Okay. So this is from the June pack. They're a little bit behind on shipments for my tea club right now. Sorry, my tea pal club is the club that I'm part of, and the shipment that just came in was for Q2, so that's April, May, June. I started with June and I'm working backwards. Amethyst! Hi, I don't know how long I've been missing, but life still sucks, but at least I have Naru on the channel, so it's not the end yet. Naru enjoyers. I'm sorry life sucks though. I hope things get better for you, Amethyst. Thanks for checking in. Thank you for the resub. Happy 11 months. Addendum on Celeste, it directly reflected on the dev and helped them transition, so it's not a coincidence. I feel like it makes sense that a dev who was like maybe an egg realized through creating Celeste that it was time to crack the egg. I can see that 100%. That makes a lot of sense from like an art creation perspective. I don't know anything about Celeste, to be honest, other than the fact that it has something to do with mountain climbing, and after I played Karen, I was like, maybe I should have played Celeste first. But that's okay. I can go back and do it in reverse order. Oh, enjoy your lurk, Ron Vic. Thanks for hanging out. It'll be a pretty chill stream today, as most of my reading streams are, visual novels are primarily reading streams, I guess. So feel free to just chill and lurk and hang out. I'm used to chat being quieter during reading streams. As long as you guys are enjoying yourselves, I have no complaints. 20,000 deaths in Celeste Glacier. 20,000. It's a very fun game if you enjoy platformers. I'm not like a platformer lover. I don't mind them too much. I'm very bad at platformers, so I like make do. Like, I recognize that I think a lot of the best indie game storytelling happens, or like environmental storytelling happens through platformers, because it's like an accessible medium. And because of that, I'm willing to put up with it, if that makes sense. Like, I really enjoyed Grease. I really enjoyed, we haven't played Inside yet, but I'm going to play it next after I had played, what was it called? Limbo? I played Limbo already because I was going to play Inside next. And then there's like, I feel like I played a lot of platformers that I was like, wow, that's beautiful, and I like can't recall them right now. Oh, Little Nightmares would qualify, I think. But I have a friend who does really enjoy platformers, who was like, every platformer that you're naming is the kind of platformer I hate. They were like, those aren't real platform games. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I like them. They encourage learning and don't vilify deaths as it's seen as learning. I really like games that use, I guess it's kind of roguelite in that sense, right? Like when they use frequent dying as a sort of mechanic. Every time I say that, people are like, you should play more Souls-like games. Like, I know it sounds like torture, but it sounds like you would actually enjoy it. And the more I think about it, the more that makes sense. I like it when the mechanics are built so that, like, the gamer mindset of always trying again is something that you are rewarded for. I think that's really cool. Because I feel like that, like, if there's one thing all gamers have in common, it's that we're all, like, boneheaded, stubborn-ass motherfuckers who don't know when to give up. I find it actually very inspiring because I think it like echoes the human condition, but you see it most on display in like gamers. we do not know when to give up, and there are times where that's really annoying, and there are times where that's really inspiring. And I like games that like honor that aspect of our personalities as people who like pick up video games and can't put them down. Silksong would kill your anxiety. Isn't Silksong kind of Souls-like in the sense that they like you have to try many times to beat a boss because you're sort of like learning and slowly practicing the mechanics? That is, I heard Hollow Knight was like that in general, and Silksong like upped the ante on it. Greece's devs have a new game, Neva. Oh yeah. I have it bookmarked. Wait, I think I might have bought it already. I might have bought Neva. Neva isn't as highly reviewed as Greece. I don't know why. We'll see. Now that I have a Let's Play channel, I can do whatever I want. I have been released. But I was debating between, because I think I had made the evaluation that like I probably can't stream Outer Wilds. I honestly do trust chat to not spoiler me on Outer Wilds. I just feel like it's the kind of game where maybe I would benefit from more immersion and less back and forth with chat, actually. Maybe was my theory. So then I was like, maybe I'll stream, because I was gonna stream Outer Wilds and Let's Play Celeste. And now like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, maybe I'll switch that, and then we'll like Let's Play Outer Wilds and stream Celeste. Amethyst Potato, hello. I have a Let's Play channel. It's my YouTube stream channel. I also use as a Let's Play channel, and I wanted to start doing like maybe one Let's Play a month roughly. So in April it was 1000 Times Resist. In May, I was just kind of busy. So June, I'm like about to choose something. Probably it's going to be Outer Wilds. Greece has a wider reaching theme than Neva. Oh, right. Because Greece is about like loss and grief. Okay, I can see that. Cool. Kami agrees with the evaluation. Oh, Kami, we didn't give you the tea on the tea. So today's tea in the Gaiwan looks like this. Kind of crazy, but the reason it looks like that is because it is a gushu bai cha, which is like, how do you do it? Ancient tree white tea. It comes in like a I call it tea biscuits, but I think other people call it tea cakes, a tea cake format, like this, like a chocolate bar. And then I broke off. There were six squares, I guess you could say. I broke off one of the squares and it's being steeped right now. The nice thing about these white teas is that you can really steep them. Like they can just sit there and steep. And it's like you can even boil them if you want to. Like a lot of people when they drink white teas will just shove them in like a kettle and just leave them on the stove and just boil, which like the concept being that you can't really over steep a white tea. I find that depending on how you steep a white tea, the flavor profile is incredibly different. So I like them on the sweeter end, which tends to be the less oversteeped end of the spectrum, which is why I'm steeping it in a gaiwan. But usually for me, because the white teas you can just keep going on, when I'm kind of done, like I feel like I'm not getting flavor from the steeping style anymore, I transfer the remainder of the leaf into a teapot, and then I do the over like a mug warmer thing for a while. Oh, good luck with your homework, Adon. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, and then let me see. Right, the theme for the June Tea Club was ancient tree, as in gushu teas from, is it Lingcang? I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know what the tones are. And it's in collaboration with Cha Yilai, a producer dedicated to ecological wild growth tea from that region. So all four of the teas here, one is a gushu. Gushu just means like old tree, basically. Gushu white tea, gushu shengpu, gushu hongcha, so and a gushu pu'er. So, oh, interesting. So there's two kinds of pu'er. One is sheng, one is shou. So literally in English that would be raw, and how do you translate shou and not raw? Like it's not cooked. One of them is like there's like more processing on one than the other, and then there's a black tea and a white tea, and the white tea is pressed into the tea cake that I showed you just now, but the rest of them are loose leaf. Yeah, I like it when the theme is really like, oh, you can taste all of these teas from like really similar trees or the same region, and it's all side by side. Because I don't think we're imagining it that you can really taste the similarities in flavor. Okay, cool. That's my little tea club spiel. Does that satisfy your curiosities, Kami? Processed. So I don't know my pu'ers well enough. Hold on. Shou versus sheng pu'er. Let's see if I can find a better. Oh, ripe. People say ripe. It's raw versus ripe. But I guess the difference is so pu'ers are usually aged. But the misconception is I think people don't realize that pu'er is you can have it unaged too. Like that is a possibility. Sorry, my glasses are like askew and I don't know why. That looks better. Okay. Okay. I think my understanding is correct. I just wanted to check before I spilled misinformation out into the world. So, the golden standard of pu'er teas is that you want them to be like really aged. Like 10 years aged is kind of the bare minimum. It's kind of like how they say like what is it for whiskey? Like 60 years for whiskey. A pu'er is usually like really basically unprocessed. It's like a white tea. Doesn't really go through any like roasting or fermentation or anything. And you just like leave it to age in a well aerated space for 10 years and it becomes a drinkable pu'er, so aged pu'er. And so that's like the goal is to have a 10-year-old shengpu. Because that's a very obviously time-consuming and often expensive process, they created shoupu, which is the not raw. So the ideal is so hard to explain in English. Not raw, aged a decade pu'ers are like the golden standard. Raw aged pu'ers are the golden standard. The ripe pu'er is a fermentation process that is meant to kind of expedite reaching that flavor profile. So you can have like if you ferment the pu'er, then it'll taste more like the aged 10-year-old raw pu'er. But we call it ripe instead because it's undergoing a process of fermentation. I find the flavor profiles to be quite different personally. I don't think it approximates it at all, but they are really different in my books. And generally speaking, people like to drink shoupu like at night because I think because of all the fermentation, like there's not much caffeine left, and it's considered like from a Chinese medicine perspective to be warming, and so it's like good for your stomach and soothing, etc., etc. I don't know if I subscribe to a lot of that stuff. All I know is if I drink shoupu at night, it won't fuck me up. So forbidden knowledge, except it's misinformation. But yeah, my tea knowledge is such that on the Dunning-Kruger curve, I'm exactly like in the trough where I know just enough to know how very little I know. But like to the total beginner, I sound like an encyclopedia. Like that's where we're at on the curve. That's where I end up in most of my hobbies, like with plants, with fucking like tea ware collection, with tea leaves, with cosplay. I get to the point where I think I'm really stupid and then I stop. Anyway. Wait, Saturn, default egg tea? Do people usually use pu'er to make tea egg? The imposter syndrome valley. Exactly. I'm there with photography, with mixing, with songwriting. Like I have so many hobbies and in every single one of them, I'm like in the valley of stupid. You do sound like an encyclopedia. That's the thing though, right? Is like if you talk to someone who's like actually really knowledgeable in tea, I'm sitting there like overwhelmed, like data overwhelmed. But when I talk to you guys about tea, I feel like I'm data overwhelming you guys. Like that's the huge gap between me and the tea masters. And tea is like maybe the one subject where I feel passionate enough about it that I like would seriously consider getting really serious about doing it academically. But there's like not a whole lot of tea programs accessible to English speakers. So now I'm like, maybe I need to go to China. My Chinese is probably good enough that I could just barely scrape by in a tea education program of some sort. I don't know. I know just enough about photography that people think I'm very smart when I'm just doing stuff just right kind of work. Yeah, like if you understand the exposure triangle, you're already going to overwhelm a lot of beginners. So, especially the mechanics of it. Like if you know how aperture works the way it does or how ISO works the way it does. Okay, let's launch the game before we go too far down any other sidebars. Oh, I do have Neva. It's right here in my library. It literally, I have it in the list. I also have Easy Delivery Co. Ooh, that would be another fun one. I kept meaning to play that one when it first dropped, and then I totally forgot about it. Okay, let me get us over. Haha! And then switch to... Okay. Hopefully this is good. As always, let me know if audio is no good. To recap a little bit for everyone who missed the last, first part of this stream, I'm guessing we'll probably need another, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish today. I don't mind going overtime today. I'll go until I'm really hungry for lunch is the plan. So probably 2.5 hours. But the last time we spent about 2 hours playing also, and it was we wake up as this suit of armor. No body in the suit of armor, we are the suit of armor, and with no memories of who we are, why we're here, where we are, what master we served. And then the mechanics of the game are such that you, by investigating the environment around you and items and solving minor puzzles, you unlock more and more memories and realize who you are. So in the last 2 hours we learned that the suit of armor was a knight named Tristan, who was the bastard child of the master that he served. By all accounts was very mistreated because he was the unwanted bastard son. And then the master had a legitimate child, and that's I forgot her name already, but the Marchioness, Lind, I think they called her. That might have been a nickname. And so she was the rightful heir. She took over after her dad died. This is her half brother that we play as, and I think the only other relevant information is that Tristan had a wife, and then they, I think, split up. But we don't know the full details yet. Oh, and as far as we can tell, it seems like Tristan may have massacred a bunch of people at a banquet. Not super clear how or why or whether it really was Tristan. But at the point where we discover that, we switch POV over to Lind. So when I launch into this game, we should spawn in right where her POV takes over. So it was a queer ass experience. The Jon Snow visual novel. You're right, Mobius. You're right, Warpticon. Great reminder. Instead of using body parts to describe where things are happening, I hit my elbow. Instead of I hit my elbow, it's I hit my, what was this part? I'm forgetting. Instead of saying foot, they say sabotage or whatever. So it's parts, we're naming parts of the armor pieces instead of body parts, which I think is really cool aspect of the writing. And then the developer was in the comments of the last VOD and said that apparently there's a diagram. So I'm gonna go look for that right now, actually. Apparently there's a diagram in the codex. Armor terms. Yeah. Pauldron is the one I was thinking of for the elbow. Yeah, and so in the process, we learned that this word is pronounced cuirass, something like that. But chat kept hearing queer ass, and then I couldn't unsay it. So every time this word comes up, we just say queer ass. We had a counter going. I think we were at 14 or something like that. Stippy's we also learned commander is a position and not a rank because Stippy said so in chat. Nameless, welcome to YouTube chat. Hello. Okay, I'm glad we got a diagram. The other word that kept showing up was oh no, it was just cuirass that kept showing up because cuirass, fuck it, queer ass kept showing up because it was it's the equivalent of your chest, right? And so he'd be there's a pain in my chest or whatever, and that kept happening. I encounter that in Dota 2, you just say it as queer ass. Wait, it comes up in Dota 2 also? Okay. Great. So we are now playing from the POV of Sieglind von Winter, Marchioness of Greywall, and Protector of Leaf. We're 18. Today you are the hostess of a great tournament and feast for all the northern nobles. Good luck. All right. I think last we left off, there was like a letter she was writing to somebody about the tournament, which we saw already a little bit from Tristan's point of view last time. Kind of went the other way around. I didn't think it was called queer ass at first, but found out later people say that. Wait, so people actually call it queer ass? Like, at this point, if we hit a critical mass of people saying it that way, that will just be the more correct, the official pronunciation. Do we know where we are? I think we're in the solar. So the same room where the night where Tristan wakes up in the first part of this game, I think is where we are now, but like in a different time period before everything went to shit. A museum audio guide said queer ass? Okay, well, as far as I'm concerned, that is now the official pronunciation, and we're moving forward with it. Thank you, Mr. Chan, for validating it. Okay, here we go. Ready? I'm gonna pull my mic a little closer. I think it's already as close as it can be. Okay. The room before you is spotless, save for the pile of correspondence heaped on the table that you can't help but skim through once more. Letters addressed to you offer condolences or lavish praise, sometimes in the same sentence. Oh, I guess her dad just died, probably. Others entreat you to seek help from their writers, men who have played the games of lordship longer than you have been alive. You stifle a sigh. You can imagine the sneers punctuating each word. Between concealed remarks about your inexperience or ineptitude, or both, are offers of introduction to noble sons. We say queeress or curious, but we are notorious for butchering names. Who's we, Glacier? Huh. As in Dota players? For the purposes of Pride Month, queer ass should stay. Okay. Down. You ignore most of them. You, of course, outrank most of them. Instead, you reach for a letter marked with a singular seal in crimson wax. The sword and stag of Thrasir? Not saying any of that right. You unfold the parchment and lay it flat. You've memorized the words at this point, but nonetheless look over it once more. My dear girl, I have enclosed what you requested along with the armor. Do let me know what Sir Tristan thinks of it, as I doubt he'd express it to me himself. As for Raymond, well, he has been enamored with your portrait since laying eyes on it. You may have heard of my son's abundant love for theatrics. It is my hope you won't mind indulging in his games on your day of games. Sincerely, Reginald Rex. King? Didn't we see a thing that had the word Rex written on it last time? I forget where. Along with His Majesty's letter is a portrait of a young man with untamed hair and beard that reminds you of a lion's mane. Oh, we also saw someone described that way. Raymond. Every lady in the realm knows that the prince has begun searching for a new bride. Every lady, including you. Why settle for Marchioness when you could be a princess? Of course, that all depends on whether you, a so-called uncultured northern girl, Rex Lapis, can impress the famously prodigal prince. Your stomach twists in knots. Perhaps you should have studied singing and lute playing, as is the fashion in the South, rather than the swordplay lessons you begged your brother to teach you. Okay, but a woman with a sword is like, so, But he couldn't say no to me. I wanted to be just like him, and how could he refuse? Oh, right, I guess we found out way at the end of last session that Tristan's wife was also a knight. A large vase of lilies rests on the table, filling the room with a cloying scent that clings to your clothes. You have read that flowers, lilies, roses, are gifts that one should present to the object of his affections. These, however, came from no suitor. Suitor? They were a decoration suggested by one of your stewards that you are already beginning to regret. Why? The great houses of Lif and Thrasir? Lif? I don't know. Claim ancestry from warrior kings. Their crests draw upon the trees that tower proudly over the land as symbols of strength and wisdom. Not fragile and ephemeral flowers. This girl has a lot of stuff to unpack in her psyche. Will everyone think me frivolous? But today is a day of celebration, and sometimes festivities require frivolities. After all, tree branches are hardly festive. Sweeters and their queer asses. It's a thumbed-through copy of Knightess of the Rose, an epic novel about a female knight who goes on a dangerous quest to rescue her lover. You loved the story when you were young. You still remember the shock you felt when you learned it was inspired by none other than Blank and your brother. Oh my god! Unlike Ostara with its brutish princess, Lifthrasir is a civilized kingdom of knights. Women have their own duties. Few attempt or can afford the rigorous path from squire to swordswoman. Huh. Okay. That your own sister-in-law achieved such an honor was nothing short of noteworthy. Wait, Glacier, you actually missed the book reading streams? We can bring those back. Or we can just do more visual novels. A bittersweet feeling flickers through your heart, a strange mix of wistfulness and longing. Things have changed a good deal since the days when your brother could sneak you away into the castle town for festivals. Tristan has always been a constant fixture in your life. Blank, on the other hand, I envied her as much as I admired her. Whenever your brother took care of you, she was there as well. You liked her enough, but you didn't like sharing your ever-harried older brother with anybody else. On the surface, she was the closest thing you had to a mother, but in truth, she was neither mature enough nor nurturing enough to resemble one to you. You can recall the many times she'd lose her patience and snap at you, though you can admit your own behavior was less than ladylike back then. Those days, you often pretended you were a knight as well. You dreamt of becoming a lady even more beautiful, brave, and refined than the Rose of Greywall ever was. Still, though she had captured the eye of plenty of counts and barons, a simple life wedded to a nameless knight, your brother, was all she desired. At least, that was true until... Ominous. The frost is not... Oh, there it is. Sunlight shines upon the room, leaving diamond-shaped shadows against the freshly laundered rug. You gaze outward at a blue sky streaked with thin white clouds. Thank the spirits, the weather's remained fair. I should die of embarrassment if it rained over the tournament. As you gaze out idly, your mind begins to wander. An endless sky means endless possibility. She seems kind of ambitious, right? When you were young, you dreamt of growing up and leaving the castle to see the world beyond. Blue sky mentioned. It seems that day has come sooner than you thought. Be brave, Lind. You're the head of the house now. You can do this. Frost is gone, so we've clicked everything. I think your reflection gazes back at you through the mirror on the wall. Her hair is carefully combed and parted in the center, framing the two halves of her face. She wears her finest jewels atop a pale blue gown trimmed with white fox fur and delicate embroidery. She looks like a child playing at a lady, not the most powerful woman in the north. Before you can stop it, a lump forms in your throat. You bite down on your lip. The strong perfume from the flowers doesn't help the stinging in your eyes. The day hasn't even begun. You can't cry now, Lind. I know you miss Papa. Papa? Papa? We'll go Papa, because it feels kind of fantasy core. I know he left too soon and nobody thinks you're a worthy successor because you're useless, and mercifully, a sound jolts you from your thoughts. Voices. Tristan. You give your reflection one final glance, smoothing out a crease in your sleeves, then quietly step away from the desk. Oh, I meant to click everything a few more times. Okay, that's fine. Blink. Wait. I need to speak to you about something. I don't want to hear it. It's about Lynn. I said I don't want to hear it. It's the familiar voices of your brother and Dame. Your brother's tone is pleading. Hers is reticent. You almost imagine the words being forced through gritted teeth. I hope they're not fighting again. Not because of me. Not today of all days. I am familiar with Child of Light, Glacier. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I think I also own that game. There's a lot of games on my list. You hesitate. Let's listen in. You pretend to busy yourself with the letters on the table as you strain to hear the knights. Nothing you say can make me... Don't try to make me feel sorry for her. It's It's not my fault your sister isn't fit to rule. That's not what I wanted to ask. Why can't you see for once in your life the North needs someone like you, Tristan? Watch your words. Lind may be a young girl, but she isn't blind. You shuffle the papers loudly as the pair enters the room. Oh, hello, brother. Blank. Oh my god, she's so pretty. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. I think I just like women with big swords, though. My lady. Lynn. Wait, he's pretty too. Oh, that's the scar. What were you talking about? Just reminiscing. Tournaments always bring back memories. You look stunning today, Lynn. You give him a pointed look, but drop the subject. It stings to hear sentiments that mirror your own spoken aloud, especially by those who should show nothing but the strictest loyalty to you. But it stings because it's true. Well, they never change. Blank doesn't care what others think of her, and Tristan is always playing peacekeeper on her behalf. Then she'll get angry at him for intervening, and they'll fight again if they speak to each other at all. Not a healthy marriage here. You pity them both. You once idolized them both, but things are clearly different between them and you now. It's painful watching them act like this. Murders on the Yangtze is on my list too, Saturn, but they don't have an English translation, right? I thought about playing that and just like trying to live translate for you guys, but it'd be really slow going. I have to look up a lot of words probably. If things can change so much between people who care about each other, will Tristan ever care less about me too? And you look very dashing, both of you. Indeed, they do. Tristan looks every bit the knight in burnished armor. His squire, Rowan, must have spent hours polishing it. Your sister-in-law, meanwhile, carries herself as elegantly in plate as one would in silk. You've always found it a little unfair how a warrior could possess so much grace. Were she a courtier and not a knight, she'd be the envy of ladies half her age. One moment. Blank's amber eyes narrow as she examines you. You brace yourself for some criticism or sharp remark, but she simply reaches out and gently straightens your brooch for you. Then she gives a small nod of approval. You look away, guiltily. Could I have a word alone with my brother? The knightess looks almost surprised you phrase it as a request and not an order. Of course. She gives you a polite bow, then walks away, the raven on the back of her cape trailing behind her on tattered wings. Despite the comments you overheard, you cannot help but feel a flutter of concern and wonder if something is weighing on her mind. You half-heartedly consider calling out after her, but find you cannot form the words. If she'll barely speak to Tristan, she'll have even less to say to me. What can I do for you, Lynn? He's so pretty! Your brother's voice is gentle, a tone he only uses when the two of you are alone. Whoever said that looks can be deceiving might indeed have been speaking of Sir Tristan Greywall. Unlike you, he has your father's stature and easily towers above you. His face is marred by a long, jagged line over his right eye. An accident, when he was a squire, robbed him of half his sight. An accident, you say? That's not how it was portrayed earlier. Scarred, steel-clad, and constantly scrutinizing the world with one keen eye, he cuts an imposing figure to most. To you, he has always been anything but. Reminiscing, were you? He looks at you sheepishly. Did you hear all that? I heard enough. I'm sorry, Lynn. Things have been difficult for blank lately. She didn't mean it. You don't have to protect her, Tristan. I'm not about to throw my own knights in prison for speaking their minds. You're right. Forgive me. You don't have to protect my feelings either. A marchioness needs to know what her subjects think and feel. Lynn, you've clearly grown up faster than I realized. Your brother beams at you in his own quiet way. His smiles are, like everything else about him, measured and concise. You've often wondered if he sees his entire life as a battlefield. You swear he treats every interaction like it could be a threat. It only means all the more that he allows himself to relax around you. His cool blue eye looks more tired than you remember, but there's a twinkle in it now that glints with pride. You can't help but grin back. Was there something you needed? He asks. Oh, look at them together. Oh, so cute. Oh my god, because of their colors, I can't help but think of Alphino and Alice, actually. No, it's nothing, really. I was just hoping to see you before the tournament. We've both been so busy. Father certainly hasn't left it easy for either of us. I'm glad I haven't had to worry about further disputes with Ostara, but there were still so many things I wasn't prepared to take over. I wish you were still here, Papa. I know, right, Nameless? Aww. I see. You've certainly worked hard these last few weeks, Lynn. How have you been? I'm fine, you want to say. But you can't. Not with the way your brother speaks. Not with his steady voice and stoic gaze, just like your father's that stop the words in your throat and make the heaviness in your heart weigh even more. Why don't you tell me about it as we walk, he says gently. Yes, but first, your eyes flicker over your brother's armor. Though well-maintained, it clearly shows its use. It's scarred, just like its wearer. So many stoic gays in this game. Are they gay? Unclear. It's not the suit you expected to see him don today. Did you not like my gift? You motion to the empty suit of armor on display in the solar. I think that's the suit of armor we're occupying in the first half of the game. First part of the game, I should say. This suit is a deep black, embossed with intricate patterns over every inch of steel. Ravens, leaves, flowers, and flourishes gleam like moonlight on a dark pond. Even the hauberk is woven from black steel rings, glittering as sunlight catches on the links. Its sash and trimmings are cut from deep blue velvet. A raven, embroidered in silver thread, looks ready to take flight from the cape that hangs off its back. Lynn, I love it. It's beautiful, but it's too much. Please, one suit of armor is hardly enough to reward you for your service. My service isn't worthy of reward. It's my duty. You watch him tentatively run a gauntleted hand along the polished queer ass. Sorry. This is a suit fit for a king, Lynn. Don't tell me this is the work of His Majesty's smiths. Let's just say they were only too happy to build a suit for the mighty Iron Slayer himself. An uneasy look flashes through his eyes at the epithet. Gifts from the powerful never come free, Lynn. That's for me to worry about, not you. You deserve it, Tristan. You do. You stare at the beautiful suit of armor, your arms folded tightly around you. You're not sure what else to say. Your brother's humility does not surprise you, but you have often failed to understand it. I suppose now isn't the time to bring up the other gift from His Majesty. You feel in your pocket for the slim dagger that sits concealed, though dagger is far too mundane a word to describe it. It's a work of art. Its hilt is sculpted into a raven and sycamore branches. A concealed dagger? The blade rests in a beautiful black scabbard with engraved silver shape? Don't know. More raven and leaf motifs are etched into the blade, nestled around an inscription on the polished steel. Protector of Leaf. Along with your hands, that title has passed down through your family for centuries. It honored your ancestor who bent the knee to the King of Thrasir, and now it belongs to you. But there's no rule that says the Marquess and Lord Protector must be one and the same. A different family member can be granted it, and nobody deserves it more than Tristan. Traditionally, the symbol of the Lord Protector is a medal, but you've never seen your brother take joy in accepting medals. Honors and titles alone could never be enough. A practical knight like him deserves a practical gift, like blades and armor. I didn't think he would mind that the suit was a little ornate, though. How about this? I'll wear it if I make it to the final day of the joust. Then it's a promise. You had better do your best, Sir Tristan. You keep the dagger tucked out of sight and smile at him, mollified. I'll find another time to bring it up. Wouldn't it be wonderful to present it to him after his grand victory, after all? That feels like foreshadowing. That feels like present has a bit of a double entendre, knowing what we saw in the first part, you know? With a lighter heart, you turn to your surroundings. Oh, it's the same room, but not as beat up. You can't help but glance at your reflection again, smoothing your hair and your sleeves for the umpteenth time as you do. You look perfect, Lynn. Stop fretting. I may not have to don steel, but a woman's appearance is her armor, brother. Are you prepared for the upcoming battle, then? As I'll ever be. Lilies. Do you like them? They're lovely, Lynn. I just want to point out, lilies are extremely toxic. In case you didn't know. And then I guess in the language of flowers, they usually symbolize what? Death and rebirth and purity? They're lovely, Lynn. The castle hasn't looked this festive since your mother first arrived. Was Mother fond of them? She said that flowers were one of the things she missed most about the South, so your father filled the halls with them at their wedding feast. Nameless like, huh? I wasn't allowed to attend, but you could smell them from anywhere in the castle. Father must have truly loved her then. No comment from Tristan. Reading old letters. I was just looking them over before the banquet. Ugh, all the flattery and condolences start to sound identical. How am I to remember who's who, let alone put a face to each name? Many of them will be meeting you for the first time. Nobody expects you to know every detail about them offhand. That explains Signalis. It wasn't radiation, it was all those dang lilies. Wait, I don't remember lilies in Signalis. What? I don't remember that at all. But the Marchioness needs to know her court, especially if I'm supposed to pick a suitor among them. You don't need to worry about that just yet. You've barely stepped into this new role, Lynn. It's fine to learn how to be a Marchioness first, before you have to navigate a partnership too. You just don't think I'm ready, do you? I don't want you to be hasty. The person you choose will not only become Marquess, but someone you have to spend the rest of your life with. The flower Ariane always grew throughout her life. Oh! Wait, lilies as a Signalis symbol makes so much sense because of the constant rebirth stuff. Rebirth. Brother. You can't possibly be advising me to pick for love. I'm not like you, Tristan. Duty comes first for me, not clinging on to feelings. You think I don't put duty first? No, that's not, you reply quickly. You know your brother has served your father, and now you his entire life, and yet, why should I hope for romance if I'll only end up like you or father? What about me or him? Isn't that why father never moved on? Isn't that why father never remarried? Because he was stuck in the past? You don't need to concern yourself with his reasons. Oh, WeChat's going off. I shouldn't be surprised about the lily, because aren't they toxic for dogs and cats? Yeah, they're toxic for everyone. It's just that dogs and cats are likely to like actually try to munch on them. Humans, not so much. You're the one who knew him best. Why can't you tell me? Lynn, I'm sorry. I just miss him so much. But sometimes it feels like I barely knew who he was. I'll tell you whatever you want to know once things quiet down, all right? Good night, Glacier. Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. All right. I get the feeling that they never get to have a heart-to-heart. Oh no! You decide to let the subject drop and turn away from the letters with a sigh. You love your brother more than anyone in the world, but having a conversation with him can sometimes feel like asking a stone wall to move. Hopefully we can speak more another time. You will probably not. Sorry. Your brother notices you eyeing the book. Would you like me to read to you? He asks playfully. Mercifully, he hasn't noticed the cover. You know he would never offer if he'd known you were reading Knightess of the Rose, of all things. Spirits, no. I was just reminded of, well, simpler days. When your father was alive. When your brother's smile reached his eyes. When your only concerns were pleasing your tutors, sneaking off for swordplay lessons, and wondering if the terrifying tales about revenants that Blank told you were true. It looks like fine weather for the tournament, your brother says idly. Yes, I can't wait to watch you win it. The lines around his kind eyes crease as he gives you a tired smile. I wouldn't get your hopes up, Lynn. Shadow and I haven't ridden in any tourneys together yet. I'm sure that monster of a stallion has gotten used to you by now, you laugh. After Snowflower, the mare who'd carried him since he was a teenager, perished during the war, your brother has hardly shown any enthusiasm for the sport. Snowflower. But today is special. I'm sure Tristan will be in good spirits in no time. At the far end of the room, your portrait hangs on the wall. It's almost as if there are 2 mirrors surrounding you. However, the woman in the canvas stares outward with a grace you do not possess, while a noble white raven perches serenely on her arm. Neither you nor Edgar are that regal in reality. Oh my god! Like Edgar Allan Poe, Edgar! What a beautiful name for a raven. Your corvid friend could never stay still for that long. The artist had to paint him separately. As for you, your painting is less a depiction of you than a symbol of what you must be. The entirety of the northern territory of Lif bows to you and your house. You, in turn, bow only to the king on his gilded throne in Thresher in the verdant south. Your father kept you safe from the outside world, safe from all that would do you harm. But then he died, all too suddenly, and now you are left alone with a title too big to fit you, the guardian of the lands you have yet to see with your own eyes. Your brother catches you staring intently at your portrait. You look older in the painting, he muses. Oh, I had the artist paint it that way. Art is meant to present an ideal version of the world, is it not? Like the image of the perfect ruler, whether or not she exists. I thought art was supposed to capture the beauty in the world, your brother says, eyeing you gently. Its imperfections included. You laugh. You're very poetic for a warrior. Say, why wouldn't you sit with me for a painting? Your family too. I'm your vassal, Lynn. It's not proper for a knight's portrait to hang beside his master's. That may be true, but you'll always be my brother first. I'll never order you to do anything you don't want to. I believe you, he smiles. I do feel like the symbolism of like the mirror facing the portrait is pretty significant. I was wondering about that earlier in the previous version of the Solar that we saw, where the knight was like suit of armor staring into the mirror and then behind him is the portrait, right? Like there's very potent imagery there, shall we say. Quite enjoy it. Fireplace. The hearth is cool and full of ash. You sigh and hug your long cape-like sleeves tighter around you. None but the summer months are free from sudden winds off the Boreal Sea, but thanks to the habits of your mischievous avian friend, you've told the servants strictly not to light a fire here unless he's inside. What's Edgar been up to? I do hope Edgar stays out of trouble today. As if on cue, the sound of squawking and rustling wings immediately echoes from within the chimney. What? Bro's inside the chimney? Within moments, a flash of pale feathers lands in a heap on the piled ash, letting a small cloud of dust form and settle around the corvid that stares at you with beady blue eyes. A playful caw emerges from his beak. Edgar, where have you been, you say? Look at you, you're all sooty. What's that in his talons, your brother asks. You notice a glint in the pile of soot. The raven's talon is curled around something small and metallic. Ah! Edgar cries protectively as you move closer to inspect it. It looks like a ring. New millennial, welcome! Edgar, where did you find this, you ask. It doesn't look like one of yours. Though dirty, you can tell it's a small, slim band of gold, far plainer than the jewelry your mother and father left you. Yeah, it's been a hot minute. How are you doing? Narrowing your eyes, you can just make out a small engraving etched on its surface. That's... Your brother's face lights up in alarm. Edgar, give me that, he commands the raven, who promptly ignores him. Ah! Never. It's mine now, bitch! Your brother lunges for him just as the raven takes off from the hearth, getting soot all over the carpet as he lands with a flop atop the empty suit of armor. Tristan, don't hurt him! Edgar, get down from there or you'll get Tristan's suit all dirty. This is why Master never liked you, tall silver man. This bird is so rude. Come on, Eddie. Tired, new millennial. Handshake emoji. Your brother sighs and turns to you. Lynn, I don't know how your bird found that ring, but I need it back. Why would you want that old thing? I could buy you a dozen new ones. Please. trade Edgar one of your own rings. You sigh as you slip off one of your gloves. You owe me one, brother. Carefully, you remove an intricate band set with tiny sapphires and hold it out to the sooty raven. Here, Edgar, why don't we trade? The raven bobs its head to get a closer view, his eyes twinkling, just like the stone set into silver. Finally, he hops from the suit and lands with a soft flutter onto your arm, dropping the plain band into your palm and scooping the ornate one into his beak. Oh, so cute. Oh, give him little head pats. Little head pats for you, my guy. Oh, Edgar, now you've gotten my sleeve all sooty, you sigh, handing the gold band to your brother. The raven, happy with his new treasure, flits back to his perch atop the armor's pauldron. Meanwhile, your brother stares at the simple piece of metal in his gauntlet as if he can't believe it is real. He pockets it, too many emotions washing over his face at once to unravel. Thank you, Lynn. I mean it. It's all right. I have dozens of jewels after all, you say. But please don't ask me to trade them all for any more of Edgar's baubles. You yelp as he pulls you into a quick hug, engulfing you in the cold steel of his breastplate. Not his queer ass? I won't. I promise. There's still time before the tournament begins. Would you like to light a candle with me then? I had a feeling you would ask. If you're not in the training grounds, then I'm bound to find you in the chapel. But yes, I'd like to light one for Papa. Very gray game. Yeah, I think it's interesting that like the blue still shows through so beautifully, and also like red toning. Like those are the two colors you see the most. I feel like the palette control is like really beautifully done. Come on then. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any interactions. Your brother sighs as he sees you fiddling with your hair. I swear, you and Blank are the same. That just means you need to meet more women, brother. Ouch! Say, do you have a favorite flower? I do. Margarets. Are they from the south? Wait, what do those look like? Oh! Oh! It's a daisy. I like it. Nice and simple. Are they from the south? What do they look like? You carried a bouquet of them at my wedding, remember? They look like little suns, bright and golden. Your brother's gaze falls as he trails off. You can guess exactly what or who weighs on his mind. Unsure how else to comfort him, you decide to move on to another topic. The scent of lilies is sweet but powerful. You briefly wonder what walking through a garden full of them must be like. You think back on the letters that caught your attention. The name that concerned you the most was... right, Prince Raymond. You fought alongside Prince Raymond during the war, right? What is he like? I wouldn't say that. Thruster's armies barely arrived in time to make a difference. He's bold, self-absorbed, and lives life to the fullest. He has the heart of a knight. Or a lion, perhaps? He certainly has the appetite of one. Appetite? For glory, honor, and earthly delights. What else? He's my age, Lynn, which means he's far too old for you. Why this interest in Raymond and not the younger princes? Well, he's first in line to the throne, isn't he? You reply. It's not a lie, not at all. What if I became queen someday? A kingdom is a different story altogether from a territory, Lynn. I know, but I'm up to the challenge. Haven't even met him yet, and you're deciding your future? Just keeping the possibility open, you say, deciding not to mention the king's letter. Who knows if anything will come of it after all. If only father had found a match for me and saved me the headache. Look at it this way. At least you'll get to make your own choice. Not many in your position can. True. Why did father never read to me? You can't help but wonder aloud. It was always you or blank. He was a very busy man, Lynn. Though true, you know that your brother was also a busy man, too often exhausted from completing whatever tasks your father or Sir Diethard sent him on. Diethard? Whatever. Diethard? You decide not to push the topic. I suppose you're right. Your eyes sweep over the tournament grounds where a number of colorful banners flutter in the breeze. Silently, you match every crest to a house, making sure you can name the lords and territories that correspond to each one. You stare again at the space where the painting hangs, but you don't look at your image. You think instead of the other painted face that used to hang here. Dad? Mom? To tell the truth, I didn't want a portrait done so soon. It just feels so final that now I have to accept that Papa isn't here anymore. How can I take his place? You'll become a far better leader than Father ever was, your brother states calmly. You know his words were meant to reassure you, but there's an edge to them that cuts too deeply to comfort. I suppose I'm glad he has faith in me. Your raven friend has flown off from his perch. You don't see him anywhere in the solar, but with the cold wind outside and his penchant for hiding in nooks and crannies, you know he's likely nearby. Wherever he is, I hope he's staying out of trouble. Oh my god, you just let your raven, like, go wherever? Edgar has been my friend for ages. He is mischievous, but just as cute and lovable. I agree. Ah! Stared enough at your portrait yet? Oh, please. I wasn't staring. I was just lost in thought. Alright, I think that's it. Let's, then we're gonna go to the chapel to burn candles. Let's go this way. Mother wrote asking if another war might break out. Surely not right after their prince was killed. Familiar voices drift towards you as you make your way through the door. Oh! Two figures stand at the end of the hall, engrossed in conversation. One is a knight in full plate. The other is a squire around your age, dressed in a blue gambeson? Gambit? Gambeson? I was right. What is it? A quilted garment. Oh, okay. A quilted garment worn under mail. And a hard leather gorget that served as both armor and uniform. You don't normally acquaint yourself with the page boys and squires that serve your house. What business would they have with the lady of the castle? But, like it or not, this face and flash of coppery hair are well known to you. Old friend? Approach them with a polite greeting. Look at me nice. Sir Robin. Though I still don't understand why Sir Tristan murdered the prince right there. He's never been the type to just execute someone like that. Hello, you two. Heard you talking shit. Sir Tristan, Lady Sigland. My lady, sir. Greetings. Good day. Tristan, we were just, well, where's your new armor? Not that you don't look good in your usual suit. I'm saving it to make an impression, I suppose. What about you? Are you stealing my squire away before the tourney, Rob? No, never. We were just talking about nothing in particular. Nothing? I take it that means your preparations for the tournament are complete. Well, if my brother's horse and arms aren't ready in time for the joust, perhaps a position in the stables would suit you better than Sir Tristan Greywall Squire. No, my lady. I'll see to it at once. I'll, make my way to the Great Hall as well. Take care, Tristan, my lady. He's a gamble son. He plays gacha games. Hello, Hyde. Welcome. Apologies for being late to the VN stream. You're at a comic festival? That sounds fun. What is that? Like Comic Cat style or like a doujin market? Without another word, both knight and squire exit the hall. Lynn, that wasn't necessary. Roan works hard for both me and Blink. I think it's high time she found her own squire instead of relying on yours. I didn't do anything wrong, did I? A marchioness needs to keep things in order. Sir Robin and Roan aren't even noble-born. Anyone who walks the path of the knight is worthy of being called one. Truthfully, you've always been jealous of your brother's squires, but you'd never admit it. They got to follow him around, learn from him, train with him, and spend time with him like you were never able to. It's unfair seeing him act like an older brother to anyone else. Novels and comics set up like an artist alley. Wait, that sounds so fun, Hyde! Can I ask where? I'm sorry. I've just been so anxious about the tournament. I want everything to be perfect. If you fail to keep your emotions in check, others will only take advantage of it. Well, I'm trying my best, but I'm not like you. I know that keeping your composure in front of your knights and the court is unfamiliar to you, Lin. It wasn't easy for me at first either. I went to Fancy Frontier in Taipei and it was just as crowded as Comic Con. Oh my goodness. Wait, in Toronto, Hyde! I'm glad comic markets are becoming like more common. It's very heartwarming. I find that hard to believe. Just promise me you'll find somewhere to calm down before you start shouting at the guests today. I suppose I can do that much. You sigh, doing your best to keep your mood from souring. There will be plenty more to test your patience today, after all. We can see it in its entirety now. The tapestry's 1,000 threads depict knights fighting off a monstrous revenant. You gaze at it proudly. You'd commissioned it to commemorate the siege of Skyridge, the turning point of the war that earned your brother not only the epithet of Iron Slayer, but Prince Slayer as well. On that fateful day, it was not only the body of an iron beast that lay cold in the snow. The Prince of Ostara, your greatest enemy, did as well, slain by your brother's hand. I've heard the stories, but they can't possibly compare to hearing it from the hero's mouth. Your brother only shifts slightly so that his back faces the wall. There's nothing to tell you that you haven't heard already. Won't you at least tell me how you slew it? How do you kill something that's undead, after all? We'd be here all day if I did, Lin. And you have a tournament to run, don't you? But that may be true, but you always find a different excuse whenever I ask about it. One more time. A tapestry depicting the Knights of Leaf triumphing over a monstrous revenant. When you gaze at the fine threads, you notice your brother turned the opposite way, as if keeping an eye over the hall. The 3 long candles wreathed in black iron sit upon the altar. Familiar names grace the wax carved in your brother's steady hand. Vivian, Oscar, Margaret, you murmur. My mother, Blank's parents. Why do you still honor Lord and Lady Lightner? Because I'm grateful to them every day, that their precious daughter could be part of my life. Just like I'm grateful to Lady Vivian for giving me my baby sister. Brother. But Blank's been anything but grateful. Are you trying to win her back? That's not it, Lin. You should never speak to the spirits with ulterior motives. They can sense it. You just seemed so happy before. What happened between you? Many things happened during the war, he says after a long silence. Things that convinced her I would always choose duty over her. But you're a knight, and she is too. That wasn't fair of her. Few things are, Lin. You wait for your brother to continue, but he does not. In the quiet of the chapel, you contemplate the words he just spoke, the air heavy as if the spirits truly envelop you. You watch your brother open the box and carefully retrieve a flint, iron, and tar cloth. To your surprise, he ignores the candelabra and lights a small candle on a plain pricket instead. It has none of his steady engravings and bears a single name carved in crude, forceful strokes. Tristan, you read in alarm. Is somebody praying for you? No, not me. A different Tristan. One I met during the war. Of course, the war you never speak about. You don't know why your brother is so reluctant to mention it. War is simply a fact of life. The greatest glory comes from defending one's territory or conquering new ones. The highest honor comes from risking one's life, one's safety to serve one's king. Of course, you were worried about him whenever he rode off to battle. When the Great Ice War began, then dragged into its second year, you missed him terribly, counting the days until any news of him reached Castle Greywall. But Sir Tristan was strong, skilled, clever, fearless, and above all, a seasoned knight by the time the first battle on the frozen river began. You never doubted for a moment he would come back unharmed. And so he had. But something had changed. He'd always been reserved, but now it seemed like he was far away, gazing at the world through a thick wall of glass. It was as if he'd left a piece of himself behind, buried in the snow and ash where 2 kingdoms clashed. You take your candle, carved with your father's name, and place it next to his. He takes his lit one and brings the small flame to your wick, setting it alight. 2 tiny pinpricks flicker as wisps of smoke unfurl in the air. Soon, the scent of melting wax and incense floods your nose. Its familiar scent, the scent of prayer. A scent that always reminds you of him, clinging to his clothes like a rich perfume. You close your eyes. You will address me as Commander. Commander Winter. Urgent news from the scouts. More of this. More sending good men to die. Well, good men and callous men and worthless men. With a spear in hand and the enemy ahead, there's little difference to be found in their hearts. You're used to it by now, of course. The price of power is blood. Yes, even your own, though rarely it is yours that's being spilt. Rarely is it yours. The same men who force you to fight think it's a shame you should have scars. No, you pay a different price. The burden of proving all these sacrifices means something. The ones who die are lucky. They're just too insignificant to know it. 11th or 12th century? I can't really tell, but it does feel deeply medieval, yeah. Your brother's head is still bent when you open your eyes. Oh, there was an achievement I missed. He kneels on your left, his profile obscured by his roughly cut fringe. You can see the outline of a scar beneath it, a long line across his face ending at his jaw. You can only imagine how painful the wound must have been for him to decide to cover his face for the remainder of his life. You both share your father's pale, silver-white hair and blue eyes, but your brother resembles him much more closely. For a moment you imagine you're seeing a younger version of your father. The thought barely flickers through your mind before tears start to form in your eyes again. Very Crusades! Interesting. You take a deep breath and wipe them away. When you look up, your brother has lifted his head, glancing at you in quiet concern. You smile to reassure him, and he smiles back, though it doesn't quite reach his eye. The two of you extinguish your candles together and silently rise from the chapel floor. Once there ruled a brave king named Tristram, who protected his people without fear. Over time, he turned his humble nation into a prosperous land. But peace would not satisfy him, for he had a warrior's heart and endlessly sought strength. Against the protests of his most trusted knight, he marched upon his neighbors to claim their lands for himself. Yet, as if to punish him for his avarice, in the heat of battle, an arrow meant for his heart fell instead upon his loyal friend. In vengeance, Tristram showed no mercy to his enemies, living or dead. He spared not a soldier's life, whether noble or commoner. He lit no candle for their spirits, nor pyres to cleanse them of their ties to the earthly realm, and left them to rot in the field where they fell. He laid his dear friend's armor in the center, a symbol of loyalty for all to see. Then, having vanquished his last enemy, the king laid down his sword. Years passed, until one day rumors began to spread. Rumors of monsters with teeth and skin of iron. Monsters who craved the flesh of the living with ceaseless appetites. Revenants? You said this wouldn't be a scary story. What's this? Are you afraid of a simple tale? Oh my god, look at them! No, I'm not. Sweetheart, please. Oh my god, the whole family's together. The story is supposed to help her sleep, not give her nightmares. Lord Shirley, like, ooh, spooky. We'll finish it another time then. No, I want us to keep reading. It's time for bed, little lady. One more page, please. All right, Lind. Just one more page. The turning of pages, a memory of a frightful tale. I love the way it gets more colored when you hover over it. Dozens upon dozens of candles fill the room, most carved with names, some embellished with elegant patterns. Your brother was the one who first taught you how to carve wax, watching with a careful eye as you scrawled your mother's name onto a candle almost too big for your hand. You'd watch, mesmerized, as his own hands, calloused from years of wielding sword and spear, carved gentle lines, turning plain cylinders into intricate shapes. You thought it was a pity they had to melt away. You knew it pleased the spirits, but it made you a little bit sad. When you told your brother this, he laughed. A few days later, he brought you a carved wooden bird, its feathers so detailed you almost thought it would take flight from your hands. Yeah, puzzle click style. Yeah, it's like a, what do they call it? What do they call the click click interaction. There's a name for it. Is it just literally point and click? I forget. From then on, whenever you were upset, he'd carve you a new figure. Even when you became far too old to play with them like toys, you'd treasure them, carefully secreting them away in your room. A family of wooden creatures to comfort you when he wasn't there. Oh yeah, literally point and click. I think Beltran got it. It's like a point and click visual novel. Yeah. The last time he gave you one, another precious wooden bird, was when he left for Castle Heimdall before the war began. Before the first drop of blood fell on the ice. Okay. Let's exhaust the interactions. Why didn't you write father's name? He has all of Castle Greywall, his knights, and you to pray for his spirit already. I just think it's a little sad to pray for somebody else's parents instead of your own. You aren't wrong. I mean, clearly Tristan has no love for his own father. Also, I guess like the story that we got just now from the storybook about like killing a bunch of people mercilessly in vengeance because like your best friend got killed protecting you essentially, and then they like implied rise as revenants as the undead after because like you didn't light any candles for them. It's like clearly the story of like this stained glass window was meant to mirror Tristan's, right? So it must be related to the suit of armor resurrection situation. Yeah. I think it's time we headed to the Great Hall. Yes. You reply, nervousness bubbling beneath your chest. You gaze up at the hero painted in glass, a figure familiar from tales you've heard throughout your childhood. Tristram. Your brother's name is common enough, borne by kings and knights throughout the centuries, though Tristan is a less popular spelling of it. Still, it suits him perfectly. What, because he's sad? Because it means sad? Sunlight filtering through the stained glass fills the room with a gentle array of colors. You've always loved how magical this place looked. You haven't lost your touch, you say, sweeping your eyes over the candles that cover the room. Have I? I feel rustier than ever. Stop being so modest for once. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we're good. Let's, dip. Oh, right. I'll only lose track of time if I head to the library now. I should ask Tristan if he knows where the key to Father's desk went. I'm curious to look through his old journals. Okay. Is this the right direction? Ah, Lady Sigland. You look splendid today. A voice calls to you as you tread down the hall. You recognize the speaker immediately, Sir Diethard. Oh my god, the guy that we... the guy that we dealt with last time, shall we say. That's what he looks like. Sir Diethard, your father's knight and brother's teacher, has always been a familiar sight in Castle Greywall. Diethard? Diethard? Die hard! No. Commander. Greywall. The older knight's easy smile vanishes as he regards your brother. It's tournament day. Nay, the greatest tournament in the north today, and you're dressed like this? I'm dressed like what I am, sir. A knight. A knight who represents the House of Winter and her ladyship's honor, boy. Though I suppose it's a good thing you recognize you're a knight and nothing more. Damn, why do you hate his ass so much? For a moment, you don't know what to say. I feel like Lind is the kind of character who would interrupt. Have our guests gathered yet, Sir Diethard? You interject. The iciness of their exchange catches you off guard. You've heard before that Sir Diethard could be exacting to those under his command, but he's never had anything but kind words for you. Being your father's loyal friend, you saw him as something of an uncle. You thought that he and Tristan had similar rapport. Your brother was his squire. Oh! Well, wouldn't that explain their dynamic then, if your brother was his squire? For many years, after all. But I suppose a commander can't show favoritism, and it's necessary to be strict to those whose purpose it is to serve, even if that includes your brilliant older brother. The older knight pauses before composing himself, his voice regaining a touch of warmth. Are you a self-named MC, or do you choose names and shit? Oh no, you play as a known character in the story. So currently we're playing from the perspective of this guy's sister, but we actually spawned in from his perspective many years in the future after everyone's dead. and he like comes back as an undead suit of armor. Yes, we'll soon be ready to receive you, my lady. Which reminds me, might I have a word with you before the banquet? Alone? He adds, giving your brother a sidelong glance. You turn towards him as he nods expressionlessly, stepping away to offer you some privacy. As soon as he's out of earshot, the senior knight speaks to you in a low voice. My lady, if I may pose a question, who put you in the seat of power? Well, technically it would be the king. In Leaf, I represent his authority. The title may have passed to me from father, but I represent the crown's authority and act on his majesty's behalf. Good. But a better question, perhaps, is what keeps you there? The loyalty of my vassals and the grace of the king. And what keeps your vassals loyal and puts you in the king's good graces? Please speak plainly, Commander. It's your father's legacy, my lady. His allies and vassals now look to you to continue it. His devotion to the crown allowed you to ascend to the place he stood without question. Satokubo, you're so right. This art style would go really hard with a VTuber. Yeah. Banquet, yet his name is Sir Diethard. You're so right, millennial. But his legacy doesn't fall onto your shoulders alone. Of course, I'm not father's only child. Yes, though your brother is a bastard Lord Sigmund never acknowledged, nobody can deny whose blood runs through his veins. Nor the fact that he's older than you, more accomplished than you, and has allies of his own who are not beholden to you. You, my lady, have not spent years protecting the land and the commoners from Assyrian invaders. To them, you're a princess locked in a white tower. I'm well aware of my shortcomings, Sir Diethard. You're studious and bright, my lady, but I fear you're not aware of the danger you're in. Oh my god, it's like one of those like Chinese court palace intrigues where like the sons battle it out for the right to the throne. Relying on Sir Tristan, showering him with gifts and honors above his station, could prove disastrous. Disastrous? My brother would never go against me. I know him, and I know he's a sentimental man, true to his very soul. He'd never betray me. It'd be equal to betraying himself. Do not presume you know the hearts of others, my lady. Power can always tempt, and desire even more. I only ask that you remember this, and reward those who have shown you and your father the most steadfast loyalty, Lady Sieglind. Remember those who have stood by you in this house, not those who have run off chasing their own wishes. Thank you for your counsel, Sir Diethard. Of course, my lady. Take care. You've done splendidly so far. I know your father would be proud of you. Thank you. I hope he is. You bid farewell to the knight, then quietly retreat down the sunlit corridor. You find your brother leaning by the windows, waiting for you. So, what did our commander lecture you about? About my current position. How I'm still lacking compared to you. You decide not to mention the exact details of the conversation to him. Yeah, I trust him completely, even though we as the player know that he apparently slaughters a bajillion people in the future, in the potentially near future. There is no knight as loyal as your brother. Actually, it should be the near future because the letters we found in the Solar were about the tournament. So that means that not enough time had passed between the tournament and the massacre for those letters to be replaced with like other events. So there is no knight as loyal as your brother. You don't want to make him doubt for a moment that you love and trust him. You know, Sir Diethard may have been father's advisor, but he is only that, an advisor. You don't have to do what he tells you to. You can't help but smile at his concern. Yeah, the banquet hall later on. Exactly. What the thing that we saw covered in blood was the banquet hall. The thing that they keep mentioning here is the tournament and the banquet. So surely it must be close in time to when it happened. There's no need to look so serious, brother. I'm not a little girl anymore. A simple lecture isn't going to make me run crying to the training yards. Oh? I heard you went running to the training yard just yesterday looking for me. Only because I wanted to practice with you, like old times. After the tournament, then. Let's see how much your training you remember. I can hardly believe you used to be this small, begging for stories before bedtime, and now you're the Marchioness. When did you get so big? When did you get so old? That's not... No, you're right. Help! Shut up! 33 is old. You shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up, queer ass. What do you mean 33 is old? Fuck you. Practically a relic. Shut up. What did I just... You will apologize to me and every other person in their 30s in this chat. And 40s. Well, I mean, back in those days, though, if you made it to 30, it was like a big deal. You know? Anyway, 33 is old. Practically a relic. Do you think I can retire soon? I'm afraid not, Sir Tristan. Your Marchioness still needs you. Fine, if my lady commands it. Your laughter echoes softly down the sunlit hall. A small part of you wishes you could remain in this moment forever. This calm before the storm that awaits you. But you remind yourself that even after all that's happened, not much has changed. The tranquil times, the smiles, will always be there too. Will they? Right? I mean, we know that's not true. We saw the banquet hall covered in blood. Let me go to the right. Oh, hey. Okay, cool. Which way will we go to? Well, this would be the armory. So I assume if we're heading to the tournament grounds, it'd be to the left. Well, to the banquet hall, it'd be to the left for sure. Sir Norbert. Tristan, my lady. Hello, Bert. Greetings, Sir Norbert. You reply, instantly recognizing the man's cheerful, booming voice. Good day. Ah, Blank bumped into me earlier. Is everything all right, Tristan? No, not even remotely. Don't worry, my boy. I'm sure she'll come around. Why, I still remember when you were diethard squires, how you'd follow each other like lost kittens. Enough about me, Bert. How are your children? My eldest is competing today under Heimdall's banner. If you face him, don't hold back. I remember him from the siege. You must be proud. Indeed, the blood runs thick in your family. Too much so, perhaps. My youngest girl says she wants to become a knight as well. Well, why not? We can have her train under the winter nights. Dame Blank can mentor her. Lynn, hold on. Training a squire takes many, many years and no small sum. Yeah, Bert short for Norbert is pretty crazy. You'd have to provide her lodgings, clothing, equipment, armor, a horse, and more for at least a decade. And counting on Blank may not be possible. Is that all? That isn't nearly enough to strain the treasury. And if Blank can't, fine. Sir diethard trained the both of you, so there's no reason it has to be a woman. He's the last person I trust with a young... I'm very grateful for the offer, my lady, but my daughter's still very young. Time will only tell what path she chooses. Of course, Sir Norbert. Just know you have my support. Well, I'll see the both of you again soon. If we're opponents, Tristan, may the best jouster win. Likewise, Bert. He's kind of wholesome. I like him. Uncle. The older knight exits the hall humming as he clanks. Clank, clank, clank. Leaving you alone with your brother again. His pauldrons relax once the other man is gone, as if letting go of a breath you hadn't realized he'd been holding. Sad Game of Thrones music. Does this sound like Game of Thrones music? Welcome, Thanatos. As you approach the suit of armor, its visor unhinges with a noise that sounds suspiciously like a caw. The next moment, your raven friend squawks as he pokes his head out of the empty helmet and flies off. I hope if when we go back, I think we'll go back to the brothers' POV probably. In Tristan POV, I hope we see a raven. I hope we see an undead raven. Oh my god, can you imagine how metal that would be? I want to meet an undead raven. I have new dreams in life. Pokes his head out of the empty helmet and flies off, just out of your brother's reach. I love a rage baiter. Lynn, that armor is an antique, not something for your devil bird to play with. Don't call Edgar that. He can't help it. Ravens are naturally curious. Yeah, I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I have, however, watched Crown of Candy. I wonder what our ancestors were thinking, choosing something like him as a symbol. Well, ravens are clever, resourceful, and wise. That explains it. He's none of those things, because he's a crow. Brother! That was cute. Yeah, he calls it the devil bird. How long have you been here? How many weeks have you marched now? How long have the banners hung outside your tents as purchase for the ravens? You were once fiercely proud of your house's symbol. Now you see the birds as an omen. beady-eyed corpse eaters that circle the field, knowing that no matter whose army wins or dies, they'll feast well. Twilight leaves the sky clouded and bruised purple. Yesterday's sky was the same. The slow tide of war makes the days bleed one into the next, sunrise into sunset into sunrise again. Battle is the only brief and bloody interlude between the long days and nights that comprise a campaign. And after battle, death. Is this the glory you dreamt of? Is this what they saw? A memory of ravens. Lynn, are you all right? You look like your spirit drifted away momentarily. Oh, I was just admiring the banners. The ravens aren't going to fly off of them, you know? Come now, I wasn't staring that hard. The door to the night storage room lies at the end of the hall. It almost feels strange to see the place stand in relative calm. The weeks leading up to today have seen your servants, stewards, and knights bustling about in a flurry to fulfill your instructions. Gratitude is not a part of your duty. It might in fact be weakness, but your father's cool regality was something that didn't come naturally to you. You can't help but be thankful that the servants continue to work diligently even in his absence. Your brother carefully wipes some soot from the helm. Oh my god, you named it? There you go, Rusty. Shiny as ever. He's so... you can't help but like really like Tristan, right? He's just really likable. He like seems like a really sweet dude who's been through a lot. Who's the one playing with antiques now, Tristan? Don't you remember? You used to look adorable pretending Rusty here was a real knight. That was ages ago. Yeah, Tristan's a bro. Tristan's a real bro. I agree. Yet for a moment, something seems to glint within the helmet, twinkling like an eye. I'm so nervous I'm seeing things. All right, cool. I guess it's time to head to the banquet hall. Nothing to interact with here. Before we go through the door, I need to go pee. And we have about an hour left of stream, so I'm gonna run a quick 1-minute ad so we can disable pre-rolls. Oh no, I guess Twitch may have automatically run ads. I'm sorry. No, actually, I lied. Okay. Be right back. 1 second. I'm back. Hello. Casual Mamma Mia, hello, welcome. A Tristan of the 7 Kingdoms. All right, let me have a little chocolate break and tea sip, and then we'll return to the story. I found, I don't know if you guys recognize this. There's an Icelandic chocolate brand called hmmmm. I recently found hmmmm at my local Whole Foods. It's like very sweet is my one complaint. I prefer my chocolate a little less sweet, but it's cool to get because it used to be, I think, like really hard to find outside of Iceland. I really like it. It's a play off of the Night of the Seven Kingdom. George R. R. Martin book. I am not very well versed in George R. R. Martin, clearly. Okay, let's continue. I agree, Nameless. I feel like I want to taste the chocolate, and if it's too sweet, I can't taste the chocolate. Okay, sorry. WeChat keeps going off, so I'm going to mute my phone. I'm also going to just check it real quick. What the hell? They're discussing the stock market. There was like kind of a dip. I was like, I went in the family group chat and I was like, do we buy the dip, guys? And then my brother was like, this isn't a dip. And I was like, I lost a lot of money yesterday. What do you mean this isn't a dip? And then my dad's like, it's not 5% yet, so it's not a dip. I'm like, you guys are crazy. These guys are fearless. Okay, let me mute my phone. Okay, we're good. Slightly dark chocolate. Yeah, I find that sometimes a slightly dark chocolate is a good way to put it. Like I'm like a 60%er when it comes to chocolate. But like a true dark chocolate is like over the 70% range, and I feel like that's too much for me. All right, are you ready to begin, Lynn? Let's go. Your brother pushes open the heavy doors and walks in ahead of you. We're cutting back suddenly to Tristan POV, Tristan suit of armor POV. The hall is filled with the stench of blood. Red paints the walls, covers each frame and banner, and soaks into the carpet beneath your feet in a river of death. Screams wail and pound into your skull. Oh, we get Tristan's sprite now. With blood. Lynn? Lynn, are you alright? Yes, I'm simply a bit nervous. Ooh. Ooh. To the left hangs a portrait of your mother in her youth, before she married your father. You'd discovered it in storage and hung it up only recently. I feel like the resemblance is quite strong, isn't it? It's strange to see her picture in front of you after all the tales you've heard. It almost feels as if you're looking at an old friend instead of a parent. Your brother seems to guess your trail of thought. You know, Blank has her fair share of stories about Lady Vivian. I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked. Brother. I'll consider it, you answer non-committally. Whole Foods has a fake 0-carb, no-sugar dark chocolate? What do you mean fake 0-carb? I don't know, I don't really believe in... Well, I can't say I don't believe in cutting carbs because I tend to not eat carbs in general. I'm not a carb person very often. I feel like I missed a line earlier. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. Tristan has always been like this, finding excuses for me to speak to Blank and vice versa so we can bond. But it's a lost cause now. I wonder what happened between her and, like, the person who was kind of her adoptive mother figure. Like, in the story reading flashback, it felt like they were really close. Those are portraits of my uncles, Papa's brothers. I've heard they were renowned warriors, but they died when he was still a child. I wonder if that's why he never trained as a knight like them or Tristan. Say, what was Mother's favorite flower? You ask, trying to lighten you and your brother's spirits. I'd like to plant some in the gardens this year. Flax. The common plant? Not something magnificent like roses or lilies? Fields and fields of flax grew in her home in the south, where they're harvested to make oil and linen. That's another name for them, you know? Linseed. Linseed. I see. Like her nickname. Staring at the painting is a little like looking into a mirror, you think. It resembles you much more closely than your official portrait does. It's odd to remember that your mother was once a girl younger than you are now. Your mother's serene face stares out from the frame, her features almost mirroring your own. Okay. You've told me so many stories about Mother, but what about Papa? You were the ones closest to him. Well, your brother closes his eyes and pauses. Your father would take me hunting with him when I was still a squire. That sounds thrilling. I wasn't a very good shot, but I loved riding through the wilderness on Snowflower's back. The forest felt like another world when I was young. There you are, being humble again. I know you're the best archer in the winter nights, if not the entire kingdom. Did father ever tell you about our uncles? I'm afraid not. Not even to you? Not even to me. Magnificent paintings line the walls along with your house's manners, giving the hall a regal air. Okay, out we go. Well, it's time to begin. Oh no, the sudden blood staining. You have nothing to worry about, Lynn. Your brother motions for you to walk in front of him as the servant announces your arrival. You'd planned ahead of time to have him announced as... I feel like Tristan also would prefer knight. Lady Sieglind von Winter, protector of Lif, and her knight Sir Tristan the Iron Slayer have arrived. A sea of faces surrounds you as you step into the light of the great hall. You stand up straight, trying to make yourself a little taller, trying not to lose yourself in the tide of voices. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. You try to paint a practice mask over your face, pretending for a moment that you're your own portrait hanging from its gilded frame in the solar. Fake it till you make it, girl. That's how you do it. Is she truly of age? She looks like a child. What will the Austerians think? A little girl as protector of the North. What was Lord Sigmund thinking with a son right there? Better a damsel than a half-blood. Oof. I'm right behind you, Lynn. That's right. Tristan is with you. And you've prepared for this, Lind. Papa is watching you. Papa is watching too from beyond the shore. You have to make them proud. My lady? Oh! Blink! Enough. I'm here to do my duty, nothing more. Your other knight swiftly approaches and takes her place at your left, mirroring your brother who stands on your right. No matter how you feel towards her, Blank is still your knight, and her familiar presence calms you just a little. Having the two of them at your side, keeping watch over you, makes it feel almost like old times. Almost. But your knights can't help you with the matters of the court. But you ignore your feelings, put on your warmest smile you can muster, and begin to greet the guests that approach you. Despite your best efforts, you're simply unprepared for the sheer number of people you've invited. Their names and titles overwhelm you. You stumble over greetings at first, narrowly avoiding insulting a countess thanks to your brother's intervention. His presence, thankfully, has a calming effect on you, and you manage to retain your composure through the rest of the conversations, though you're doubtful you've managed to impress anyone through them. Plenty of lords badger your brother with topics surrounding the neighboring territories and the conflict with Ostera. Though he tries to make room for your input, you have little of note to add. You sense something almost like disappointment from Blink, though she barely speaks a word throughout. What feels like a century passes before the deluge of perfumed lords and ladies slows down to a trickle, finally giving you space to breathe. Now you take in your surroundings, the fruits of your efforts. The great hall is a dazzling sight. Morning light streams through tall, arched windows, shining upon every surface. Banners proudly displaying your raven and sycamore crests adorn the walls. Gilded vases of lilies and irises fill the room with spots of color as bright and bold as the aromas that waft from them. The long tables on the side of the hall are laden with food and drink, attended to by dutiful servants in blue and white. The mix of scents and sights washing over you nearly leaves you breathless. And the people. You don't remember the last time you saw so many people at once. The ordinarily gray, empty hall is flooded in sound and color. Lords and ladies dressed in fine fabrics and glittering jewels sparkle like sunlight on the boreal sea, speaking and laughing and whispering everywhere you cast your gaze. Finally, at the end of the hall, stand the knights. Most have donned their armor. Gleaming steel draped across the Most have donned their armor, gleaming steel draped with rainbow hues that represent their houses and orders. Heimdall's black and your own winter blue make up the largest group. Naturally, the border territories train the most knights. Plenty of other houses, however, have sent their best to compete. Young men, fresh from their knighting ceremonies, talk excited amongst each other under the watchful eyes of their seniors. The majority are from Leith, but you spy more than a few who've made the journey up from Thrasir. It feels as if today, the entire kingdom acknowledges, or scrutinizes, you. You overhear two nervous young squires trailing behind their master. Didn't the last knight you served die during a tournament? Not me, my cousin. His master... not me, my cousin. His master was struck in the helmet, fell off his horse, and trampled to death. So it was an accident? Or was he... Boys, fetch me some wine. Yes, sir. Tournaments are a celebration of many things, chief among them, violence. They are a method for keeping knights fit and sword arms honed during peacetime, after all. Whenever your father hosted one, he forbade you from watching, saying you were too young and delicate for such a spectacle. No amount of crying changed his mind. But I'm not worried about Tristan. He's stronger than anyone. You scan the hall again for a flash of gold or purple, Thresser's royal colors, but spy neither the prince with his famous helm of gold antlers nor any of his knights. Even if Prince Raymond himself didn't come, I thought at least the royal knights would. The smiths hinted as much when I commissioned Tristan's armor. But brother did say his highness was fond of theatrics. Perhaps he aims to arrive fashionably late and make some kind of grand spectacle. I should make sure to act surprised if he does. You're doing well, Lynn. Over there, isn't that the Prince Slayer? How formidable. Formidably handsome! A few of the younger ladies hover nearby, glancing at you and your brother behind silk sleeves held to rosy lips. Some whisper as if daring each other to step forward, but none look willing with Dame Blank nearby, like magpies shrinking under an eagle's gaze. You bite your lip. You had expected the appraising gazes that have been directed your way, but it's an uncomfortable feeling watching the same looks fall on the person you care about most in the world. Tristan is a private person, but that's never been enough to stop rumors from spreading. Even before he became a hero, thankfully, no lady would be bold or senseless enough to approach a married man. Marchioness! A thundering voice ruptures your thoughts and your moment of calm. It comes from a middle-aged man clothed in dark green brocade and the heavy scent of spices and perfume. You dimly recognize him as one of your father's friends. The man had hardly changed from when you last saw him as a child, leering at you over a hand of cards. With him stands a slender young woman who shares few similarities with him save her emerald garb and wheat-colored hair. Lady Sieglin! Tristram! It's a pleasure to see Sigmund's beloved daughter and fiercest knight again. Did you just misname Tristan? Rest his spirit. What are you waiting for, boy? He shouts at Tristan. Introduce me to her ladyship. 7. You've opened your mouth before you realize you remember this man but not his name. You hastily give him what you hope is a warm greeting. It's a pleasure to see one of my father's friends today, my lord. Is this lovely lady your wife? The man turns a shade brighter while the woman's eyes flicker with something venomous as she delicately coughs into her sleeve. No, my lady, this is my daughter, Isolde. Ah. Welcome, Lord Mistel, your brother states quickly. Yes, I hope your journey here was free of trouble. Accidentally insult an important guest. It was smooth as a seal's tail. My daughter and I were only too eager to visit you. Not even a raging revenant could have stopped us. Though your brother's face shows no change in expression, you swear his left hand twitches as if looking for the familiar shape of his sword. The Count does not notice, turning towards him as if they're the best of friends, which to your knowledge they are not. No lady would approach a married man. Now we know this is fictional. Sir Tristram, you remember Isolde? If we met before, I don't recall, but I humbly offer my greetings, my lady. Thank you, Sir Tristan. The young woman dips into a low curtsy, gracefully batting her long eyelashes. Her long jeweled neck and shining green gown remind you of an emerald serpent uncoiling. Please, you need not bow your head to a mere knight. But you are the mighty Iron Slayer, a living legend. How can I offer you anything but the utmost gratitude? Behind you, Blink makes a sound that she quickly muffles into a cough. You're too kind, your brother replies absently, fiddling with his gauntlet. Well, if you wish to repay my kindness, would you grant me the honor of a dance this evening? Oh my god, what was that about not approaching a married man? I'm no dancer. I fear I would only cause you embarrassment. What about a game of chess, then? Isolde is very learned, the Count quickly cuts in. She's a student of both the arts and warfare, knowledgeable at strategy, too. She's even practiced the sword. You as well? You can't help but remark with envy. What style of... I've studied quite a few of your battles, Sir Tristan, the way you led the charge across the ice. I'm afraid simple games have never amused me. True warfare is unpredictable, not reducible to pieces on a board. Oh, well, of course, but perhaps we could... Forgive me, but my wife and I are busy with the tournament, and her ladyship still has other guests to see. Another time, then. Please excuse us, Lady Singlet. My wife and I are busy. We may be pissed off at each other, but we're busy and we're married. Once the pair are out of earshot, Blank lets out a gasp that turns into a torrent of laughter that doesn't stop for several rounds. Several seconds. What's so amusing? The look on that woman's face. Brother, surely you noticed what Lord Mistel's daughter was doing? I noticed that pair of snakes trying to lure you into something. It's not her they were trying to snare. I don't understand what you mean, but it's good to see you smile again. At that, the other knight shifts away from him, turning her face towards the hall. Oh my god, I feel so bad for Tristan. He's like a kicked puppy, you know? Like, it's just a puppy getting kicked over and over and over again. And then the puppy grows into like this big old wolf dog, but he's still just a puppy at heart, you know? Like, that's the vibe. That's the vibe. They can have a moment. You look tired, the knightess attempts after several seconds pass. Have you been resting enough? They look so good together. Well, enough. You needn't worry for me. I wasn't worried. What about you? You look... I haven't been feeling well, so I know I must look beautiful. Oh, he's just a big puppy. You almost think the knightess will storm off. She stands stone still as your brother takes a tentative step closer to her, then slowly reaches towards her. You watch him brush his armored gauntlet over her and give it a light squeeze. It's a gentle touch, a crinkle of leather over steel knuckles and curled finger plates so soft you barely hear it. So soft you wonder if the two knights even feel any contact. It's the only intimacy you've seen between them in a long time. You have scarcely formed the thought when the sounds of clinking armor and sturdy footsteps stride up to you. Greetings, Lady Winter. The speaker is a knight with graying hair, dressed in plain armor and a black surcoat. A single medallion hangs around his neck. It takes you a moment to recognize it, the North Star of Heimdall. This man is the Hound of the North, the general Tristan fought alongside during the war. Welcome, Lord Heimdall. Thank you for making the journey here today. At his side stands two knights adorned in similar black-trimmed armor. Your brother gives each a friendly nod in greeting. Blank, however, looks away coolly, barely offering any acknowledgement. It's been too long since I've seen you both, he says, turning to your knights. Sir Tristan, Dame Blank. I'm only glad we meet under better circumstances, sir. Yes, it's lovely here. It's like this castle's never seen a lick of chaos from the war. That seems a little side-eye-y. It's the knight on Heimdall's right who interrupts. You are surprised to hear a feminine voice come from the figure's helmet. In fact, the speaker sounds barely older than you are. The boldness of her remark leaves you at a loss. Dame Tanya? The man's tone is even, with barely a hint of reprimand, but it causes the knightess to stiffen. Forgive me, I spoke out of turn. Please be at ease. Lif is, of course, grateful for all that the Knights of Rimegrave have done to protect our borders. It's thanks to you we can enjoy a peaceful celebration today. With a foe like Ostera, even defeated and licking its wounds, we can but pray it lasts, Marchioness. I suppose so. That was, yeah, Sinai. Yeah, exactly. Though the conversation soon drifts towards the tournament and other unremarkable topics, you can't fully relax. The man before you is cordial enough and more soft-spoken than you expected a general to be. You can't help but feel there's more behind his unassuming exterior, though. One doesn't win wars without a sharp mind and sharper senses. I wonder, Marchioness, if you would be willing to indulge in an old man's curiosity, the Marquess asks after a time. Which do you think a ruler should value more, justice or mercy? Well, I feel like we shouldn't, like, people keep putting her down and, oops, I didn't mean to click that. Oh, crap. You try to glance surreptitiously at your brother. He frowns. Be honest. Don't try to impress him. At least you hope that's what the look he's giving you means. It's been a hot minute since I saved. Let's save. Be honest. I feel like they want me to have a tough guy exterior, so I guess justice. Justice. A kingdom can only function when its subjects live according to its laws. I see. I wonder what Sigmund would think of your answer. You knew my father? Scarce few in this room didn't, Marchioness. Of course he knows Father Lind. He's a Marquess and a Knight of Leaf. You are still mulling over his words and your own when he asks, Marchioness, may I borrow your brother for a moment? You're aware Sir Tristan is a hero of all of Lif, but he's especially beloved by the people of Rhymegrave. My knights have been looking forward to seeing him again as much as the tournament itself. Sir, I'm on duty. Your brother protests, but there's a flicker of something pride behind his words. Please, Tristan, you're like a brother to us. The other night, a young man with a somewhat familiar voice says, You're not the only knight Lind has, remember? Blank says, speaking for the first time. I can look after her while you have your little reunion. You're about to object. You're not a dog or a cat who needs looking after for spirit's sake, but change your mind when you see the wistful look in your brother's eyes. Go ahead, Tristan. Thank you, Blink. I won't be long, Lynn. As you watch him follow the other knights, the next noble eagerly walks up to you. During a lull in the conversations, Blank hesitantly turns to you. Lind, Lady Sieglind, what is it? There's something I need to ask of you. Please speak then. After the tournament concludes, I plan to leave the Winter Nights. Leave? But Father made you my knight. You swore to protect me. I'll still protect you as a knight of the realm, just not here. You wish to leave Castle Greywall too? What about Tristan? I need some distance from your brother. I see. I can't be surprised about this. I can't remember the last time they looked happy around each other. But your heart aches all the same. This might be nothing, but I love how vivid the writing is. I've only played one of their older VNs, but they're so good at mentioning expressions and gestures. Yeah. It's very, lifelike, right? I agree. I think describing scenes in great detail can sometimes be like a double-edged sword. Like, you can kind of shoot yourself in the foot and end up in the territory of, useless purple prose, but I feel like so far, I don't feel like there are wasted words. Like, it's all good flavor. Yeah. But your heart aches all the same. I've known Blank my entire life. A part of me always thought she would stay here forever with Tristan. Tristan. He's going to be devastated. Blank. Does my brother mean that little to you? Lind. No, that's not... He means everything to me. I don't understand. Why leave then? Why act like this around him? It's not that simple. He's hurt me. We've hurt each other, and I don't know if we can ever share a life together like we did before. Where do you plan to go? Lord Heimdall made me an offer back when the war ended. He said that the border would always have a place for a knight like me. Why have you only decided now? I thought that things could still work between us at first, but when they didn't, well, Lord Sigmund would only find some way of forcing me to stay. But Father always favored you. You were like a daughter to him. Your father had a peculiar view of family. He made many promises to me and your brother, but never fulfilled them. I hope you understand that I could never bring myself to see him as a father. Not like the one I lost. Blank breathes a heavy sigh as her gaze falls. I suppose nothing I say can convince you to stay. I'm sorry, Lind. You stay silent as you consider her words. Wow, we cannot choose the spiteful words. They say, go if you must, but no, you will never serve in these halls again. And the other one is, wait, why don't I know your name? Is she also, we're also in the POV of a spirit haunting the halls? Oh, I can click it. Lind? What's wrong? You know my name is Blank. No, say it again. Blink. I'm Blink. I'm not clicking that. I understand, but please know you'll always be welcome here. Lord Heimdall will be lucky to have you. But please know that should you ever desire to return, you'll always be welcome here. Thank you, Lind. Promise you'll at least write to Tristan from time to time? He's bound to worry himself sick over you. Of course. Is that when they had the letters that we found in the box? Soon an uneasy silence settles over the two of you. As you mull over the knight's words, you consider what else to say, if you should say anything at all. I think we should ask. This is your last chance. If Blank truly plans to leave after the tournament, I don't know if I'll get another chance to ask. And Tristan did encourage me to. Blank, if I may ask, what was my mother like? I was only a page when she arrived. I didn't know her well. I see. What did you expect, Lind? My lady. Lightner! Commander. The knightess gives a brief bow. Stand up straight, girl. Is that any way to greet your superior? Try again. She stiffens, faces the commander, and gives a deep bow, all while keeping her gaze lowered. In just one motion, it feels as if the spirit seeps out of her body, as if an entirely different woman from the one you've known all your life now stands before you. Despite your indifference towards her, you've always thought of Blank as a proud knight and fearsome warrior, whose strength you could only envy. It unsettles you now to see her freeze when called. Do you intend to make fools out of our order, Lightner? The commander barely gives her time to compose herself. Never, sir. Then how do you explain your disgraceful behavior? What? A winter knight carries himself with dignity. But you've done nothing but scowl at the most illustrious lords of the north, make demands of her ladyship, and bring shame to the honor you hold as her knight. You're dismissed. Head to the tournament grounds or run off and grovel after that boy, wherever he is. If he still lets you into his bed. Oh my god! Oh! You just like say that in front of other people? That's messed up, dude. You are not cool. I'm glad we like... I was about to say we fucked you up, but we didn't. We lit a candle for you. We actually did something really nice for you. We did something really nice for you, okay? Damn. Tristan's better than I am, because I would have made sure I dismembered your skeleton first. Damn. Understood, sir. Without another word, the knightess trudges off, gauntlet curled tightly at her side. Sir Diethard. Forgive me for that display, my lady. I should have intervened sooner. I'd hoped that girl would improve her manners in the years since she served as my squire, but... You notice that everything has gone quiet. I mean, yeah, duh. That was a very public situation. The ripples of conversation that filled the hall mere moments ago have stilled. Like a stone plunged into a pond, the affray between your knights has not gone unnoticed. Not by their peers, nor yours. You consider the commander's words in the eyes that now watch you. I feel like she really cares about, like, the whole duty first conversation keeps coming up, right? Like, in front of other people, even Tristan would have preferred that she lock in. So every time you play a VN, it amazes me. I have basically zero context and caught up in a second stream with 2 hours already. And I am hooked as shit. You were born to be the reading voice of audiobooks. I'm glad you think so, Bruna. I should really figure out how to get into audiobook reading as like a career, but right now feels like a really bad time because of AI. All right, let's discipline the vassals. What Sir Diethard said seemed cruel, but it would do me no good to take her side over the commander's right now. Of course, you have every right as her commander. However, while you did not step out of line, Dame Blank is my personal knight. Disciplining her falls to me. As you wish, my lady. Valued your relationships until others were watching. Yikes. The commander briefly scans the room. You, Kaufman! He turns to a fellow knight standing nearby, one who had the misfortune to fall under his line of sight. Commander. Her ladyship requires a new guard. See to it that you don't leave her side. Unlike the others. But, sir, I must prepare for the joust. Your duty to the Marchioness comes first. Do I make myself clear? Yes, understood, sir. Good. Now, my lady, I must be on my way, but do not hesitate to call for me at any time. Of course. You may go, Sir Diethard. As the attention drifts away from you and your guests mingle again, you overhear the knights whispering amongst themselves. Of course she'd take the commander's side. Exactly like the Marquess. I'd never liked Blink, but the poor thing didn't deserve that. It seems everyone has decided that talking about you is more stimulating than talking to you. You suppose you're glad Sir Diethard has granted you a small reprieve. I actually don't intend to replay this, so let's go back and select the other option too. I'm curious if you're kind of like, screwed if you do, screwed if you don't. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here, is that both options kind of lead to people disapproving of you no matter what. Those are the voices your character would hear, right? You scan the hall and after a few moments spot your brother standing in the courtyard entrance, waving farewell to a group of black-draped knights. From that distance, you doubt he heard the commander's outburst. If he had, he'd be rushing to Blink's side by now. Meanwhile, Sir Robin stands nervously beside you, his mail clinking as he shifts in place. You can almost feel his stare boring into you from his visor. Despite how much you usually envy him and his sibling, right now you only feel sorry for him. Don't worry about me, Sir Robin. Go ahead and prepare for the joust. I'll make sure Sir Diethard doesn't give you another earful for it. But my lady, I can't leave you alone. I won't be. Tristan is right there by the courtyard, see? I'll go to him immediately. The young knight has the decency to at least pretend to consider it for a few seconds. Thank you, my lady. He still insists on escorting you through the hall, however. You're silently and reluctantly grateful, as it saves you from any more interruptions. I keep hearing you say Blake instead of Blink. After you've made your way through the hall, you wave him off, then look towards your brother, now standing at a distance from you in the shaded courtyard. Tristan. You stop. He's not alone. You hear voices, his and hers. For a moment, you freeze, uncertain whether to call out, but the intensity of their conversation makes you falter. Unsure of what else to do, you slip behind a pillar and wait. Blink. You didn't read my letters, did you? I don't want to hear anything you're too afraid to say aloud. Afraid? You're the one who keeps running away. You're the one who avoids me every time I try to tell you. You're right. I am afraid. I'm afraid that if I look into your eyes, if you beg me to stay, I'll lose every drop of resolve I still have. So please, don't. I know you want to leave. I know Lord Heimdall made you an offer. And I'm taking it. I should have left years ago. I'm going with or without you. Take me with you. What? Take me with you. Let's go. Together. We can have a new start. A new life. At that, the knightess turns around and strides right up to him. For a brief moment, you wonder if she might embrace him. But then she slams into him mercilessly, forcing his back against the wall with a metallic thud. Grabbing her claymore by the hilt, she lifts his chin with the pommel, forcing him to stare down into her eyes. You think if you just say the right words, I'll melt into your arms and forgive you. Just like that? You have no right to ask me for anything. I shared a life with you all these years because I thought you would fight for me. For us. But here we are, 7 years and no home, no land, still drowning in debt. I know I failed you. I know I'm not good enough. I know I shouldn't have left you. But you did. And what did you gain from it? What did you get for abandoning us? What did you get for leaving your family to die while you offed the prince like a good guard dog? A title? Gold? No. A pat on the back from the king and another bloody suit of armor to keep fighting in. Don't look at me like that. I can ask Lynn to forgive the debt. And what then? You think that scared little girl is going to let her brave big brother run away to the border? The minute she calls for you, you're going to forget about building a new life and run straight back like the hound you are. Lynn is the Marchioness. She's grown now. She doesn't need me. What about when I needed you? Don't you dare call me the strongest person you know. Don't say that she or your kingdom or whoever else needed you more. I've never been strong, Tristan. I'm weak and I'm broken and I'm tired of pretending not to be. Aren't these scars proof enough? Stop. I can't. I can't stop being a miserable, incurable wretch. I can't stop being this witless, worthless woman. You can't stop loving you, even after you've hurt me again and again. What follows is silence, when she shoves her claymore aside and seals his mouth with hers. A silence that lasts only a moment before he returns the kiss ardently, weaving one hand through her burning hair and the other around her waist, desperate to feel her warmth beneath the metal plate. Her arms go slack as she surrenders himself to him, lets him cradle her like a doll, lips never parting from his. You're not sure how either night can breathe. You have the decency, then, to avert your gaze. I feel bad for both of them. Man, you don't know how long they remain that way, locked in their embrace, until a cry of surprise draws your attention. How did you find my ring? I threw it off the battlements! I told you before, I'm Sir Tristan Greywall II and Lady Lightner's husband first. Tristan, wait. There's something I need to tell you. Let me go first. I know you've made sacrifices for me. Too many sacrifices to count. Heteros during Pride Month? I'm willing to do the same. I'm willing to sacrifice Lynn. Sacrifice me? What? You don't hear what comes after. You sink down to your knees instead, clutching the sides of your dress with frigid fingers. You're cold, as if all the warmth has drained from your veins. Yet your heart beats rapid, its thundering filling your ears, making your head spin. My brother wants to run away. With her? He doesn't care about me anymore? After a time, you struggle to stand up again. When you do, the courtyard is quiet. They must have finished whatever they needed to say. When you hear the faint sound of steel clinking, you hurriedly turn around and slip back into the great hall before either of them can spot you. Oh, it's getting juicy. It's getting juicy. Lynn, what are you doing alone? The traitor asks, casually, as he strolls up to you, like nothing happened. You can barely keep your voice from breaking. I could ask you that. You're supposed to be my knight. What kept you? Lynn. His Highness, Prince Raymond, has arrived! A hush cascades through the hall, followed by ripples of excited murmurs. All eyes turn towards the pair of oaken doors at the entryway at the far end of the space where you now stand. The prince? I'd forgotten about him completely. You barely manage to compose your face into an expressionless mask as another figure, Sir Diethard, approaches you. My lady, shall I escort you to greet our guests? Are you nervous? You look pale. I'm fine, Sir Diethard. You don't feel fine, of course. Your body doesn't feel like your own. You feel as if you're watching yourself tread down the hall, dragged along some invisible current that pulls your feet one after the other. Your limbs are like a doll's, as stiff and cold as the stone floor your skirt grazes over. You're dimly aware of your brother's, of his footsteps behind you. Ordinarily, you would turn ever so slightly, stealing a glance at his calm smile, and stand taller, knowing you were safe with him close by. Just an hour ago, his presence made you feel whole. Now, you simply stare ahead and walk forward, step after step. I don't know what to think. I don't understand anything. He's been different since he got back. Now it's clear that's because he's been hiding things from me. Things like how he truly feels about me. Ahead of you, the great pair of oaken doors stand open, gaping like a wound. In walk 2 rows of knights in gold, helmets donned and weapons at their sides. Velvet sashes hang across their chests. Deep purple capes trail down their backs. Emblazoned on each is the symbol of Thrasir, worked in gold thread, a stag with a sword caught in its antlers. At the head of the entourage walks a knight with a gilded helm, crested with tall antlers that cut through the air. You've seen paintings before of Prince Raymond, standing tall with regal bearing and noble features. The crested helm tucked under his painted arm glimmered as if drawn in gold. Now the gleaming antlers before you remind you of the thorny brambles that trail around the castle's outer walls. The knights carry axes, great swords, and spiked morning stars. The prince, too, carries a weapon, a curved sword with a jeweled hilt, in a style you've never seen before, tucked in a glittering gilded scabbard. Everything that happened just minutes prior escapes your mind as you start rehearsing your greetings in your head, only to hear the scraping of steel from behind you as your brother draws his sword. Tristan! He cuts swiftly in front of you until he stands between you and the prince. Sir Tristan, have you gone mad? Sir Diethard howls. Sheathe your weapon at once! Who are you? Your brother asks, ignoring the commander. Where is his highness? Silence cuts through the hall as your skin goes cold. Nobody, not one soul, moves. The next sound you hear is laughter. A woman's voice, muffled, laughs as if everything unfolding now is a scene in a light-hearted play. The sound is so sweet and stark and lovely it leaves you shivering as you clutch at your skirt. You look around for the source. With your brother's body blocking your sight, it takes some time for you to notice where the sound is coming from. Right in front of you. So there you are, a silver-haired knight who wields a sword in his left hand. That voice, tinged with an Eastern, Austerian accent, rings clear and song-like from a helm of golden antlers. I knew you'd be easy to spot, but I didn't think you'd come running to greet me, Prince Slayer. I've waited a long time to meet my brother's murderer face to face. That's why the prince was late. He got fucking murdered and replaced. The plot doth thicken. Well. Where is this going? Winter, present, castle gray wall, leaf. Oh man, we're back. Okay, well, great stopping point, I think. Great place to stop. Wait, I'm actually not going to stop right here because I think we need to load. I remember I wanted to see, we'll load back in right here, no problem, but I wanted to see the immediate reaction if you were to defend, your, the what's her name? Lightner? We've been calling her Blank in our heads. I guess, yeah, let's choose Mercy here and see what changes also. Mercy. People, no matter their background, strive for the best for themselves and their loved ones. One should rule with compassion and understanding. I see. The Sigmund I knew in my youth would have said the same thing. Oh! You knew my father? Scarce few in this room didn't. Oh, that was a very different response. Okay. So let's skip all this then, because it's the same. And then we'll do this. And skip all that. We asked about our mother, skip all that. Okay, so here's the difference. I want to defend her. Dame Blank is not only my knight, but a sister to me. I would ask you to treat her with as much courtesy as you would me, Sir Diethard. Forgive me, my lady, but I must repeat what your father stressed. That woman is not, and was never, your family. But as you're aware, my father no longer walks this shore with us. Whom I honor as a relative is up to my discretion. As you wish, my lady. The commander briefly scans the room. You! Kaufman! Okay, so this is all the same. I want to see what the crowd's responses are. Okay. As your guests begin to mingle, you hear disapproving whispers. Yeah, I was right. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I was like, no matter what you choose here, people are gonna shit talk you for it. Probably there's approving voices and disapproving voices, and the thing about Sieglind is that she'll hear the disapproving voices, right? That is really how it goes for a lot of us. I think it's relatable. Truly soft-hearted. What can you expect from a young girl? The Marquess would never. It seems your guests have decided that talking about you is more stimulating than talking to you. Okay, cool. Well, that answers my questions about how it would have gone. Great. Oh no, wrong screen. Let's end there for now. How are we feeling about this game so far, guys? I'm especially curious for your opinions if you're like visual novel aficionados. I think the dev might be watching these VODs, so I would just remind everyone to be polite about it if you have impolite opinions. What a place to leave off. Yeah. I'm very intrigued. I guess the theory would be that, like, because I got the feeling in the first part, like the whole banquet hall bathed in blood situation. I think the knights, like the suit of armor that you play in the first part, the feelings are, because you know how there was like he would look at the crest of the raven and be like not a positive emotion was coming out in response. I feel like that's got to be related to specifically Tristan's relationship with the Marquess. But I do believe that his love for his sister is real, and his like belief in loyalty to her also. So I don't believe that he would have just like killed everybody in cold blood. Like there had to have been some kind of a trigger. And then the other thing that we learned this time that I think informs that hypothesis is that the story of Tristram is obviously meant to be a close parallel, like an extremely close parallel. And Tristram's whole story was that like he essentially went berserk. And I think Tristan has already done that. Like they call him the Prince Slayer. They say things like, oh, the Tristan I know wouldn't have done that. Like, so clearly in the heat of battle, like something happened. Maybe when his mare died, I don't know, Snow Blossom, is that what her name was? And he went berserk and like killed the fucking prince. And now there's probably gonna be a repeat of that, right? Like he's probably just gonna fucking lose it again, is my guess. So it remains a question who dies to trigger it. It would either be his sister or his wife, it feels like. So it's like the only two people he cares about. I need to play more from this dev. They're like in all my backlog. Yeah! So many people in my chat actually recommended It Pains Me specifically from this dev. So I meant to play it before playing this, and then I just got too busy. Also kind of got entrapped back in the Genshin trenches. So yeah. I was feeling dread the closer you were getting to what happened in the banquet hall. Yeah, exactly, Nameless. Precisely. That damn bird. I also hope we see an undead version of that damn bird. Or maybe it's still alive. You never know. Okay, I'm gonna go have lunch now. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the visual novel reading. I think I agree. Who said that earlier? Was it? I can't remember who said it. Somebody was like, oh, I like missed the reading streams, but the VN streams kind of scratch the same itch. I appreciate you saying that. Because I've been missing doing reading streams, and I feel like the VN reading streams kind of bridges the gap between like indie game enjoyer and reading enjoyer. So it's kind of two birds, one stone. Sandrine, welcome. You come in right as I'm about to end. Saturn says, I think he's also suppressing a lot of anger and rage at the futility and meaningless of the wars. Yeah, for sure. He has a lot of like repressed and unresolved traumas, and I'm sure that that's what's like flaring out every time he goes berserk. So I'm sure it's gonna happen again. It's just a question of what triggers it. Have a good food. Thank you, Fairy Slash. Gonna do my errand soon. It was intriguing. Great. Hope you have a great time doing errands. It's been a good stream. Thank you, Ying. Of course. Thank you, Mr. Chan. That happens a lot to me, says Sandrine. Okay, let me see if there's anyone to raid who's online right now. Okay, let's see. Oh, BB's doing a VTuber debut. I feel like we have to raid then. Yeah, let's do that. Oh my god, wait, her model's so cool. Okay, go say hi to BB for me. YouTube, if you would like to join us, it's BB's VTuber debut, so that's really exciting. Wow, I actually didn't realize she was doing her debut today. She has a really beautiful, like, lavender, like, wisteria kind of purpley tone. It's really lovely. Okay, well, it's morning, afternoon, evening. Have a wonderful time of day. Thank you for joining me for another visual novel stream and indie game stream. Again, 2 birds, 1 stone. So I'm gonna experiment with this new stream and upload pace, and we'll see how things go. This is a soft launch of me attempting to full-time stream. You guys heard it here first. Don't tell the others. I'll do a proper announcement stream properly later. But for now, wink wink, you guys get to know first. I'm gonna actually put my whole Ying into it for once. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for hanging out. Have a good one. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.